Hey everybody. Today I'm going to be responding to week two's discussion post, and I'll be straying from the syllabus just a little bit, and I'm going to be picking a slightly different topic. I'm going to be talking about the role that the CDO, or collateralized debt obligation, had on the housing market. Although this issue is around 10 years old now, I think it's still relevant because there are different forms of CDOs floating around, and the ethical implications of these tools are always important to discuss. So, the definition of a CDO is a pool of assets made up of mortgage bonds that serve as collateral for the potential debt obligations. These CDOs are sold to investors as repackaged subprime loans. Um, a number of subprime loans that are packaged together are then rated higher than they were if they were packaged separately. The problem with this is that these subprime loans are very risky, and they're the first bonds that are defaulted on. Um, so before I go any further on CDOs, I wanted to highly recommend, if you haven't seen the movie already, go see it, The Big Short. It's an awesome movie. It's what this discussion is based on. And if you're interested in finance or business at all, this movie is outstanding. Um, yeah, it sheds light on exactly how the financial crisis came about in '07 and '08. Um, it was the crash of the housing market that occurred because of the reckless and unethical activities of the big banks that allowed for millions of homeowners to default on their mortgages all at once. And that movie, I mean, goes into the minds of the bankers and the people working on Wall Street during that time and before that day um, that the housing market went down. Um, So yeah, really amazing story. I think that was told, and you learn a lot from it too. Um, so the ethical dilemma is that people had warned against this happening. People knew that this was happening and the crash was then inevitable, but nothing was done to stop it. Uh, Even people who knew about it, one being Michael Burry, who was the one of the main faces in the movie, nothing was done. He did nothing to stop it. Uh, there was only what's known as shorting, or making short investments on these bonds. Um, and the essence of shorting something is that there will be a huge payoff for the investors who bet that one specific market will fail, or for this case, the housing market will indeed fail. So, again, from an ethical standpoint, big banks, financial managers, whoever was at the top, they were incentivizing these short term gains for themselves over this long term turmoil that we've seen in the housing market in America and the world economy. Um, the people who knew about the corruption also went for short term gains, even though they knew what was happening was wrong. Essentially, the system was incentivizing unethical activity, whether you were betting for the housing market or against it. Um, yeah, as the movie concludes, it mentions a tool that is still floating around Wall Street today, and it's known as a bespoke tranche opportunity, that experts say is essentially the same thing as a CDO. As we know, the CDO was basically the reason that the housing market collapsed in '07 and '08. So it's still happening today. Um, so even though the way that these big banks acted resulted in a major recession around the world, they were bailed out by the U.S. government and they were saved. They were essentially handed a get out of jail, get out of bankruptcy free card. Um, so I don't know if many of y'all saw this today, but we the markets have been soaring recently, and the Dow Jones today reached over 21,000. And not long ago, it had just capped over 20,000, which was a huge milestone. And it's the highest it's been right now for the past, I don't even know how many years, over 10 years. Um, but as we know, what goes up must come down. And with the continuing unethical, risky behavior on Wall Street and these big banks, with the new bespoke tranche opportunities, the crash of '07 and '08 might just be right around the corner for us again. So something to think about. Very interesting uh, movie and story. Go check it out. It's really awesome. But the discussion that they have on the the ethics of all this is really kind of unsettling. Um, but yeah, that's about all I have for this week, and looking forward to hearing from the rest of y'all and seeing your videos. Thanks.